Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a review about the Mercedes A45s AMG and the BMW M2 Competition. Both cars are competitors and are cars which cost under 100k, and both are very similar in prices but very different in drivability. The BMW is rear-wheel drive and the Mercedes is four-wheel drive. The Mercedes A45s has 421 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque, and the BMW M2 Competition has 412 horsepower, which is 8 horsepower less than the A45, but has 550 Newton meters of torque, which is 50 Newton meters more than the A45. From 0 to 100, the A45 is faster. The M2 Competition fits a 6-liter inline bi-turbo engine, and the A45s fits a 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo engine. This new C63S uses the same engine as the A45s, and the M2 Competition has the same engine, the S55 engine, which is the same engine used in the M4 Competition. Now we're going to do a sound check of both cars and then a review about the comparison of both cars and which one I prefer. The A45s is the best A-class of its segment compared to its competitors, RS3 and the BMW M2 Competition. It has the front canards, and as you can see here, it has the panoramic grille that it's taken from the GT as well. That's what I really like about the A45. As compared to the A35, it does fit the normal A-class grille, the LED matrix system as well. Here it's fitted with a big Mercedes badge. For a daily driver, I really enjoy this car as it's pretty comfortable to drive. You have the dynamic select system, which is comfort, ice mode, sport, sport plus and race mode. It also has a drift mode, which actually works. It's not the same like a rear-wheel drive car, but it does work on roundabouts and stuff like that. Although the purpose of it's only to be used on tracks. And compared to the old A45, this one has around 50 horsepower more. The 4MATIC Plus system is a lot better now. Also, the turbo is bigger. The car has almost all the extra fitted on. So that's basically the A45. So as you can see, interior-wise, the car looks better than the M2 Competition. It has the MBUX system, which includes the Burmester sound system. I also have the sunroof, the bucket seats, which are pretty comfortable. Then inside here, you have 2 cup holders to save things. And here in the main menu, you can control all the entertainment system, either by touch base or by the steering wheel, or even here with a mouse pad. So you have the 3 options, which is pretty comfortable to use. Here you can also watch the track pace to make drag races or even to get the car into the circuit, for example in Nürburgring. Then you can configure also the ambient light, so you can have various themes, or you can configure the color by yourself. Then here in the steering wheel you can choose between different options, and in race mode you can use the drift mode as well, which is pretty awesome. But to activate the drift mode, you have to disactivate the stability control, pull both pads inside, and then you confirm by shifting the up paddle up, and then drift mode activates. Then for the gears, compared to the M2 Competition or the RS3, you have a small knob here where you control basically the gears. But what Mercedes have done is fit the gearbox on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. So basically you can change from neutral to drive and reverse by only flipping your finger, which is pretty convenient. Space-wise, it's like an A-class, so it's pretty basic. but 4 people can fit in pretty nicely, and the car handles perfect, so that's no problem. Also, the dynamic modes, you can configure it by the knob here. Then here you have the AMG stripes, which was an extra as well, and the red stitching around the seats, and also here on the door handle. Then the steering wheel has the Alcantara steering wheel with different options such as start stop, AMG dynamics, stability control, suspensions, exhaust to open or close the valves. You can select to drive the car manually or automatic, and there's a lot of functions which you can configure everything by the steering wheel. So here is the rear of the car. The car is fitted with a big spoiler with quad exhaust tips, the A45s badge, S meaning with the drift mode, and here the AMG. Boot space is pretty good of the car. You can also fold down the seats and there's even more space, but under here you don't have any more space. There's only safety things, and that's basically it. So here we have the M2 Competition with a black spec, full black spec, with a black grille, the M2 badge. The car fits a 20-inch alloy wheels with a gray finish. The only problem with this alloy wheels is that it gets dirty pretty fast, so it's a bit inconvenient. And the A45 has black alloyed wheels, which does cover up the dust better than this car. I really like this car compared also to the new M2. I find this grille to be very aggressive. It's even better than the normal M2, which has these grills in silver finish, and this one has it with a black finish. And with a full black color, I think it fits pretty well. The only thing I did was adding here the red stripes, which I did it because I found it pretty nice. And this also fits well with the interior of the car, as normally they come with blue stitching, but I chose to do orange stitching. This car also has 4 exhaust tips, and it is also fitted with a Akrapovic exhaust system, as well as the A45. I did change the spoiler, so it's a bit bigger now. It's the BMW spoiler. I also have added here the red lines, as in the front mirrors. And yeah, it also has the panoramic sunroof and almost all the extras fitted on it. Interior wise, as you can see, the carbon of the car is not real. It is actually an extra of the car, as well as the A45, but here in this case it's not real, it's like stitched. The stitching of the steering wheel is represented like the M badge, which is blue, blue and red. Then you also have here 2 cup holders. Navigation on this car is pretty good, and you have various different options such as media navigation, basic stuff, my vehicle, check vehicle temperature, tire temperatures. Then you have some sport gauges such as horsepower and newton meters of torque. And yeah, the interior of this car is a lot simpler than the Mercedes, but it's more focused on sport driveness. Then the M2 logos on the seats does light up when it's dark and you turn on the car, so I think that's a pretty nice detail. And you have a bit of Alcantara in the sides of the door panels. The handbrake is still operated manually, which is pretty nice. And to put it on gear, you basically have to use the center knob, which you can put it on drive mode or reverse, which is fitted with a camera. And yeah, the interior is basically pretty standard. I also like the paddles of the M2 as they feel pretty good and they're metallic, which compared to the RS3 are with a plastic finish, which in my opinion is not premium and not professional. And on Mercedes, they also made it with metal feeling, which is pretty nice. And last but not least, the seating belts has also the M colors, which is pretty nice. And yeah, here inside it's pretty spacious. I've got the sport seats, which are very comfortable. Mercedes bucket seats are a bit less comfortable, but both of them perform pretty well. So guys, we're here in the M2 Competition. Right now I'm in comfort mode. The car is pretty chill. You have here the different driving options, either for the steering wheel where you can go to Sport Plus or to Comfort, and it's easier to drive. You have the ESC button off, which you can remove it. You can apply it completely off, or only half of it, that it will allow you to drift only 50%. now as soon as I open the valves, you can already hear the pops and bangs. Suspensions, stage 2, it has a stage 2 on it as well, so that's why the pops are louder, and of course the exhaust system, which really makes a difference. And drivability, I feel like the car is very stable, and when you try to hit full gas on it, it's insane. Like, stability control always pops up and tries to stabilize the car, because if you drive with no traction, it's simply insane. It's undrivable, and I think this is one of the best feelings car that can give you in terms of experience. So now I will do an example with an ESC half off, and now you'll see that as soon as I give gas on it, was pretty insane. Even for drifting, it's a good car. So yeah. I personally really like driving this car because it offers a nice learning curve to learn this car, as being rear wheel drive makes it a bit difficult to understand how it drives, and when you have to floor it until the end, it's not the same as an A45 where you it just pulls and doesn't stop. Here in this case, the car likes to dance. Like, for example, I like to relate it as a snake. It's like a snake where it dances around and just eats fuel, and yeah, but that's the fun part about this car. The only thing is, for bumps and stuff, it's not the most comfortable car, and my one is even worse because it has the all-in suspensions, so it's even harder. But in my opinion, it's a lot better for drivability. So you sacrifice a bit of comfort, but the drivability is a lot better. So that's why I think this car, particularly for fun and for driving and speed, I think it's a lot more fun to drive than the A45. But the A45 is different. So when you hit the gas, it's a lot faster and smoother compared to the M2. So guys, we're now in the A45s AMG. The first thing I can feel is it's a lot more comfortable, and there's a lot of more technology going on. Also, the steering wheel is more direct. I can see more buttons like the comfort, the start-stop system, etc. Here you have the ambient lights, which it's still not very dark, but I will put a picture how it looks like when it's dark, and it's pretty amazing. Then here you have the sunroof, which is bigger than the M2 Competition. And yeah, this is basically full Alcantara. The M2 doesn't come with this option, you have to do it separately, or buy the M2 CS. If I'm not wrong, I think it also comes with this. So yeah, right now we're driving in comfort mode because we're here in a populated area, but now we're leaving, and yeah, I really like how the car sounds in comfort. It's chill, there's not a lot of sound going on, it's like stock wise. But now, as soon as I go to Sport Plus, you can already hear the pops and crackles, and the gearbox is now in sports mode. Also shifting, you can hear now the pops and bangs as well, which I will do in a bit. And the power delivery is so different to the BMW. Like, I can instantly feel the single turbo line. So that was pretty amazing. This car instantly drives faster from 0 to 100, and you can really feel it in these types of roads. And yeah, it's very different to them too. There are two different cars, completely different cars for a similar price. This is more comfortable, this is easier to drive, the learning curve is not as heavy, as big as the M2. And yeah, I mean, with this car I only want to floor it and floor it and floor it. It's so easy to pass the speed limit by. And the shifts are just perfect. Like these shifts in the M2 you don't get it. And the car shifts very, very fast. The M2 doesn't shift that fast. So yeah, I think for street road the A45 is potentially faster. But yeah, also for daily driving it's perfect. The bucket seats are amazing. And got here the entertaining system, which with all the tech you need, you don't need anymore. And it is as easy as just go to comfort, and the car converts into another car. Now it's comfortable, the suspensions and the dynamic system control is all in comfort, and now it just feels like an A-Class. The gearbox changes smoothly. And that's what I really like about this car. With a flip of a button, it's like driving a GT. Although it's not 8-cylinder or 6, it's 4. But anyway, I think it still sounds amazing. It sounds like a small rocket car. And I really like the drivability and how easy it is to drive this car. It's just perfect. I hope you enjoyed the video of the comparison of both of these cars. I found both of these cars to be amazing. In my personal opinion, I prefer the M2 for drivability, as it's more fun. You can interact better with the car. It has a 6-cylinder, and with a stage 2, you can really boost the performance of the car. Exterior-wise, it looks better than the A45s. That's just my opinion. And on the other hand, the A45s, for a daily driver and a car that you want for everyday use, with the best sportiness, the best comfort, and the best everything, I would choose the A45s over the M2 Competition. Also sound-wise, I would prefer the M2 because it has a 6-cylinder engine. But interior-wise, I must say Mercedes makes one of the best interiors in the car industry. You have the ambient light system. The quality of the interior is better. You have Alcantara in the steering wheel. You have the metal paddle shifts. The bucket seats, and these are things that in this current model of the M2 they don't offer. In the new model they do offer, but in this one it's still not an option. And yeah, that's basically the review of the both cars. That's my conclusion. So I would pick the M2 Competition over the A45 in my case, but if I would only have to choose one car for all the year, then I would choose the A45s. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.